Okay, now we did use some selection tools to create a selection from any image to select an object from an external image. Uh, Now let's see how to handle those layers in a single design area. Now I have this file called design1. Now I'm going to add some selected objects from other images onto this design area. Let's see what we got. Okay, let's use this one. I want to select this leaf onto my design. Okay, I'll take this quick selection tool. Okay, then I can click and drag like this. You can see that leaf is selected. Then I can use edit, copy, or use the shortcut key Control C. Now the selected area is copied to your clipboard. We have to paste it onto our design like this. Go to our design window, then Control V to paste, Control V, or you can go to edit, paste. Okay. Now in this design area I have pasted, or I have added this part of a leaf. Let's copy some other parts from other images. Okay, let's take this one. I want to get this part of this lady onto my design. Okay, I'll use this magic contour. Okay, uh, you can see some parts of this object is also selected, so instead of magic contour I'll use quick selection tool. Okay, click and drag like this. Okay, you can see this also, the part of this background is also selected. I don't want that. So okay, let's remove that unwanted area by using this option. Remove from selection or subtract from selection. Click on that icon, then again click and drag on this area. Now that part will be subtracted or removed from the selection. Okay, now this lady is selected. Let's say Control C to copy that into the clipboard. Then select your window of the design, then Control V to paste that part onto your design. Okay, now I have copy and pasted two parts from external images. Okay, let's use okay, let's take another. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, quick selection, click and drag. Okay, don't mind about this unwanted area that you select. We can subtract it by using this subtract option. Okay, now copy, go to your design and Control V to paste. Now in my design I have three parts. In this design they will be called as layers. Okay, all those separate parts are called as layers, and you can see all those layers in this layer panel. And here I have pasted three parts. They are stacked as layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. And also in this design area, now for the design we have an area. that area has a background. Okay. That background is, you can see, named as background. Okay, we call it as background layer, and layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Now you can see an order. Now the background layer is at the bottom of this layer stack, and on top of that layer 1 and layer 2 and layer 3, like that. And all these layers are arranged according to this order, and we can arrange these layers. That means we can change the order. Let's say, let's talk about it later. Now you can see that this name, we can identify these layers by using this layer name, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. And also if there are sometimes some part in your design, if there are many parts, many small parts that need to be identified separately, then you can change these layer names. Now you can double click on this layer, then you can see that name layer 1 is highlighted. Now here you can type anything you want. Now this is the layer 1. Layer 1 means that layer I pasted the leaf. I'll name it as leaf, leaf, right? And layer 2 is the layer which has the image of that lady. Okay, I'll double click on that and I'll rename it as lady. And layer 3, which is the top of this layer stack, this vase or ornament. Okay, I'll name it as vase. Okay. Now I can identify those layers separately by using this name. I can identify it, and I have named it depending on the content of that layer: leaf, lady, vase. Okay. Now let's see how to arrange these layers. To arrange these layers, you have to use this layer panel. And let's say I want to move this layer which contain the vase to the bottom of this one. At the bottom you have the background, and on top of that background, that means we have 3 layers, and this vase should be at the bottom of those 3 layers. Okay, you can do this like this. Click on this layer and keep holding the click and drag like this. When you drag that particular layer, you can see a preview. Then when you are going when you place that particular preview on anywhere like that, you can place that layer, then you can see something like that highlighting method. There are kind of a line, okay, like this. Then you can release the click. Then in that particular highlighted line area, that particular layer will be placed. Okay, I'll drag it furthermore to the bottom. Okay, now again you can see the highlight, release it. Okay, like that you can arrange these layers. Right, now let's say I have 3 layers. I copied a part from another image onto my design. I don't want it anymore. That means it is useless. Then you can remove that layer. Let's use this one. Okay, at the bottom was, I want to delete this layer. First select that layer by click on this layer panel was, then press the delete key. Now you can see earlier there were 3 layers. Now I have only 2. that's because the third layer is deleted. Okay, I'll use Control Z to undo that one, or you can use this history window to kind of an undo option. There are these logs. If you did something or any mistake, you can invert it, or you can undo it by using these logs. Now let's say this is the last step. If I did something wrong, if you want to correct it, you can use Control Z or edit undo. Okay. Or you can use this log, history log. Select the previous step, then that particular operation will be cancelled. Okay, now like that I will restore the last layer I deleted. Okay, then now I have three layers. Now it looks like this particular layer is not essential, or is not kind of useful in this kind of usefulness in this design. So instead of deleting that layer, I can use this option. It is called show hide. Okay, now you can see an eye, a symbol of an eye. If you click on that one, okay, I'll use this the layer on the top of the layers tab. If I click on this, you can see in this design area that layer called lady disappeared. Oh, now we can't see that. It is in hidden mode. I did hide it. Okay, like that we can use this option show hide, or changing the visibility, to hide those layers which we are not using. But sometimes in future those layers may be useful, or you have to use that layer. Instead of copying and pasting it again, you can preserve that layer by changing this visibility, change it into hidden form. Then you don't have to worry about this in the final design. Okay, like that you can name this layer, you can change the order, you can delete, and also you can change the visibility. You can show, or you can decide whether it to show or hide in this design. Okay, now it is about this layer stack operations. Now in this design I have three layers. Instead of using this layer stack to select layers, I can use this right click option. If you right click on this design area on a layer, you can get a pop-up list of layers. If you right click here, you can see only a single entry background, because the place I right click have just only the background. And if I right click here, you can see only two layers, only two entries, vase and background. And if I click on this leaf, you can see three: leaf, vase, background. And if I right click here, you can see all the four layers as the entries. Okay, from here you can select the layer. If you want to select the layer leaf, click it. Then you can see on the layer stack the leaf layer is selected. If I right click and click on vase, then the vase layer is selected. Okay, now let's see how to change some properties of these layers on this design area. First one is placing the layer. That means I want to change the place of this layer. I want to move this layer to another position. Okay, first of all select it. I want to select this waste layer, then select the layer, then click on the layer and drag. You don't have to actually click on the layer. If you click on anywhere else, it is also same. You can move the layer like this. And if you want to move this layer called leaf, select the layer, then click and drag. Like that you can move these layers. Okay, the next one is how to change the size of a particular layer. Now after copying and pasting, some parts can be just the exact size you want. Sometimes they can be smaller or sometimes they can be larger. Then you have to adjust the size of that particular layer according to your preference. For that, it is also same with the selection of the layer. First select the layer, then you can use this option edit and this free transform. Okay. And free transform, if you select free transform, you can adjust the size, or you can transform the layer. And let's see this contents of this entry transform. Here you can see scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, wrap, rotate 180 degrees, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, flip horizontal, flip vertical. Okay. Now let's see free transform. Let's select free transform. You can see the shortcut key is Control T. That means after selecting a layer, if you press Control T, you can transform that layer, or you can change the size of that layer. Okay, let's click on this one. Then you can see this kind of transform controls around the layer that you have selected. By using these controls, you can do the transformations. Okay, like this. If you want to adjust the size, you can use these controls. You can click on one of them, then click and drag like this. Now when you are transforming a layer, when you are changing a size, if it is a natural image, it is better to preserve the aspect ratio. Aspect ratio means the ratio of the width and height of this layer. If you didn't preserve the aspect ratio, that particular natural object will be kind of destroyed. That means the natural look will be changed. Let's say like this. If I drag or transform the image like this, you can see some sort of unnaturalness. And if I drag like this, it is also kind of same. The size is kind of unnatural. So it is better to when you are transforming this the size of this particular layer, it is better to use this key, shift key. That means when you are changing the size, keep pressing the shift key while dragging. It will preserve the aspect ratio. Okay. Also, you can see on this option bar there's a option maintain aspect ratio. You can click on that. Now it is enabled. Now you don't have to press the shift key. The aspect ratio will be maintained or fixed when you are changing the size. Okay, like that you can drag to click and drag these transform controllers to adjust the size, but I recommend you to use these four controllers at the corners. Don't use these controllers. If you drag like this, usually the aspect ratio will be changed. Then after changing the size, double click on the image or press enter key. And likewise, uh, you can click on this one, and if you move the mouse pointer away from the transform controller, and you can see the mouse pointer will be changed. And if it change into a curvy line like this with two arrowheads, now you can rotate the image like this. Click and drag to rotate the image. And when you're rotating, you can see the values on the option bar right here is changing. And if you know the uh, exact amount of degrees you have to rotate, then you can type it here. Okay, 0 to kind of revert. Okay, then double click like that. You can use transformation option to adjust the size, and like that you can rotate 180 degrees up. If you want to rotate to upside down, you can use that option. And this one, these two, flip, flip horizontal, flip vertical. If you click flip horizontal, that means you will change right into left, left into right. It is called flip horizontal. Okay, and this option, flip vertical, upside down. Sometimes you have to use these options. Okay, like that we can arrange or we can transform these layers by using these transform options. And there are some other options we'll discuss in those in future. And also, let's see the after selecting this transform option, what are the options available in this option bar. And if you click on the middle of this image and drag, you can see these two, x and y, the coordinates or where that this particular image is placed is changing. And also, if I okay, I'll enable the aspect maintain the aspect ratio, and if I drag like this to adjust the size, you can see these two, the percentage is changing. Okay, like instead of adjusting by using click and drag, you can type values. Okay, let's say I want to increase this from 150%. You can type 150. Let's say 125, type 125. Okay. You can adjust the percentages separately by using these two text boxes, width and height. Or if you click on this maintain aspect ratio option, then you have to change only one value. The other will be automatically changed. And double click on this layer to apply that transformation. Then you can continue with the design.